fact, our citizens have also designated multiple savage drug cartels as far as like you see this, and you see it happening right before your eyes.
Maduro offered everything in his country, all the natural resources. Can we call it a message to you in English recently, offering mediation? What should we do in order to stop that?
He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to fuck around with the United States. Thank you, everybody. Let's put it this way. People don't like taking big loads of drugs in boats anymore. There aren't too many boats that are traveling on the seas by Venezuela.
Officially, the United States claims its confrontation with Venezuela is about the fight against drug trafficking and organized crime. Public statements from Washington emphasize the need to dismantle criminal networks, stop narcotics flows, and neutralize what American authorities describe as a narco-terrorist regime led by Nicolás Maduro. However, this explanation raises questions. Venezuela possesses the largest proven oil reserves in the world. Despite its economic collapse, its subsoil retains strategic value for global energy markets. At the same time, U.S. military resources have been deployed at a scale rarely associated with counter-narcotics operations. Warships, fighter jets, cruise missiles, and a nuclear submarine are now positioned near Venezuelan waters.
And the waters around Venezuela are beginning to look like a chessboard, one where almost every major piece belongs to the United States.
Airstrikes against suspected drug traffickers, naval deployments on an unprecedented scale. According to Washington, the United States has recently begun using the full power of its military to destroy Venezuelan terrorist and trafficking networks allegedly led by President Nicolás Maduro. This is the context in which tensions between the United States and Venezuela have sharply escalated. More than 4,000 American soldiers are now deployed around Venezuela. The operation includes 8 warships equipped with approximately 1,200 missiles, 5 F-35 fighter jets, and a nuclear submarine. For several weeks, U.S. forces positioned in the Caribbean Sea have remained on high alert. Officially, Washington claims its objective is to wage a war against international drug trafficking. Caracas describes this posture as an outrageous, unjustifiable, immoral, and extremely violent threat. On September 2nd, Donald Trump published a video on his Truth Social network showing a U.S. military strike on a vessel in the Caribbean Sea suspected of transporting cocaine. The strike resulted in 11 fatalities. The president commented publicly on the operation, stating that the boat was approximately 12 meters long, unusually large for a go-fast vessel. He explained that such boats typically carry only 2 or 3 people, and questioned why 11 individuals would be aboard.
In recent weeks, the Navy has supported our mission to blow the cartel terrorists the hell out of the water.
According to him, this detail demonstrated that the vessel was not conducting ordinary maritime activity, nor was it a route typically used to reach the United States. During the same period, the U.S. Navy conducted amphibious landing exercises in Puerto Rico. On September 15th, Donald Trump published another video showing a second vessel struck in the Caribbean Sea. This strike resulted in 3 deaths. The president stated that previous patrols had encountered hundreds of boats in the area, and claimed that following these operations, the boats had disappeared. These military strikes were swiftly condemned by international legal experts. Specialists affiliated with the United Nations described the actions as contraventions of international law and qualified them as extrajudicial executions. According to international legal principles, unilateral lethal force by one country within the waters of another sovereign state is not permitted, including under the justification of counter-narcotics operations. In response, Nicolás Maduro announced large-scale military exercises and ordered the mobilization of approximately 4.5 million soldiers and reservists to defend Venezuela's orders. Earlier in September, 2 Venezuelan F-16 fighter jets intercepted a U.S. warship in the Caribbean Sea, escalating tensions further. Washington continued to harden its rhetoric. U.S. officials described Maduro as one of the world's largest drug traffickers and as a threat to American national security. On August 8th, the U.S. Department of Justice announced a $50 million reward for information leading to his capture. American authorities formally accused the Venezuelan president of heading what they describe as a narco-state. This accusation raises a central question: is it justified? On January 20th, 2025, the day of his inauguration, Donald Trump signed an executive order designating major drug cartels as terrorist organizations.
Under the orders I signed today, we will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
The president stated that these organizations were responsible for the deaths of between 250,000 and 300,000 Americans every year. Among the groups listed was the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. Tren de Aragua became one of the most frequently cited references during Trump's campaign. The name is often used broadly to describe various Venezuelan criminal networks, despite the fact that numerous gangs operate both inside and abroad. Tren de Aragua originated as a prison gang and is frequently described as one of the most violent criminal organizations in the region. According to experts, one reason U.S. authorities emphasize Tren de Aragua is its classification as a foreign terrorist organization. This designation enables the United States to use an expanded range of legal and security tools against its members. Some U.S. officials have argued that the only effective way to neutralize the group is through their physical elimination. In March, more than 200 suspected members of Tren de Aragua were expelled from the United States and transferred to a high-security prison in El Salvador. For Donald Trump, however, the leader of Tren de Aragua is not a gang boss, but Nicolás Maduro himself. The administration publicly demanded that Maduro stop sending members of the group and narcotics into the United States. Many analysts contest this claim. According to their assessments, there is no evidence that Tren de Aragua is centrally directed by the Venezuelan president or that Maduro directly oversees its operations. The U.S. Department of Justice also accuses Nicolás Maduro of leading another criminal network known as the Cartel of the Suns. American officials claim that Maduro uses organizations such as Tren de Aragua, the Sinaloa Cartel, and the Cartel of the Suns to flood the United States with drugs and violence. However, specialists stress that the Cartel of the Suns does not resemble traditional cartels that centrally control all stages of the drug trade. Much of Venezuelan drug trafficking is embedded within state structures, but the networks are fragmented. Numerous actors operate independently. The Venezuelan state is therefore deeply corrupted by drug trafficking and organized crime. But does that make it, as Washington claims, a narco-state? Experts emphasize that corruption, complicity, and involvement by individuals within the state apparatus are factual realities. Declaring a country a narco-state, however, implies that drug trafficking is official state policy, meaning the state itself is organized around narcotics operations. This distinction matters because characterizing the regime as a narco-terrorist organization provides legal and political justification for regime change. Accused of being one of the world's largest drug traffickers, Nicolás Maduro has become the primary adversary of the United States. However, UN data complicates this narrative. According to the UN, approximately 75% of cocaine destined for the United States transits through Pacific routes, while only 10% passes through Venezuela. Most cocaine production flows through Ecuador, which has become a major export hub. These figures raise further questions about U.S. military strategy. The deployment of Tomahawk missiles, warships, and a nuclear submarine appears disproportionate if the sole objective is combating drug trafficking. Increasingly, analysts argue that political and geopolitical considerations play a central role. To understand the origins of the current tensions, it is necessary to return 25 years in time.